Alright guys, it's time for another episode of Let's Talk About, where I talk about movie news that's either interesting or in this case frustrating. So today we're going to be talking about live-action Disney remakes and the state of Disney as far as originality is concerned. Now, I maybe want to discuss this is that the film news world in the past week has been absolutely nothing but live-action Disney remakes. Whether it's the story of Halle Bailey being casted as Ariel in the live-action remake and nobody caring about anyone else's opinion and just yelling at each other over the internet, the buzz over the new trailer for the new Mulan movie that's coming out next year, or the critic embargo lifting for the upcoming live-action Lion King remake. This is all I've been hearing about on film Twitter and in the world of movie news lately, and it's really frustrating and tiring to hear about. I haven't enjoyed any of the live-action Disney remakes except for The Jungle Book. Jon Favreau took a movie, the original Jungle Book, that wasn't too great, wasn't an untouchable classic, didn't have music that everyone was obsessed with and won awards. He took something that not too many people remembered and was able to put a new and unique spin on it and make it interesting and good. Every other live-action Disney remake that I have seen, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, they've all been the exact same carbon copy story, just repasted a bit. Beauty and the Beast tried a little few things new, but not nearly enough. They didn't try nearly as many new things as The Jungle Book did. And The Lion King looks to be like it's going to be nothing new as well. All of the reviews that I've been reading have said that the only positives about the movie are Timon and Pumbaa and the CGI. We already knew the CGI was going to look good, and we all hoped that Timon and Pumbaa would be funny, but if that's the only praise you can give the movie, then something is clearly wrong. Disney is fully aware of what they're doing right now. They are cashing in on people's nostalgia. People love to see what they grew up on in their childhood, and they love to see that stuff sold to them again, and most of them are so caught up in the Disney machine or just don't want to discover anything new or put forth the effort to discover anything new that they'll just happily go see nostalgia. And that's really frustrating to me for a myriad of reasons. One, Hollywood doesn't listen to critics or to people yelling on Twitter. All they listen to is our wallets. We speak with our wallet as audience members, and if we only spend our money on live action remakes and sequels, that's all we're gonna get. If movies that are taking risks from storytellers who are risk takers and want to do new things and try new things and give us potentially great films aren't making money, then they're not going to continue to be funded. It's so frustrating. I love seeing stuff that's new, original, or at least takes risks, and if those projects don't make money, then we won't get any more of them. But yet every single live action Disney remake that comes out makes all the money in the world, and that tells the studios that that's all we want to see, and that's not true. At least I hope it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. It's fine to have nostalgia for films that you grew up on, and if you love these live action Disney remakes, I'm not insulting you. But I have a stack of DVDs over here of classic films that I grew up with that are part of my childhood, but yet I don't go to my movie theater being expected to pay full price for just a regurgitation of what I grew up on. When I go to the theaters, I want to see stuff that's new, unique, fun, or at least take some risks. And it frustrates me that so many releases that are coming out are either unnecessary sequels or live action remakes or just remakes in general. Alright guys, so segueing off of that topic of unnecessary sequels and remakes, I want to talk about Disney and their lack of originality. In the past 10 years, from 2009 to 2019, Disney has put out 68 films, and out of those 68 films, only 28 of them have been original films. Now when I say original films, I mean a film that is either based on a true story, is a completely original story altogether, or something that is based off of a book or story that hasn't been done over a million times. Any film that's a sequel, a remake of any kind, based off of a previously existing Disney property, or something that's based off of a popular novel, a story that's been done over a million times, or a video game, I'm not gonna count it. And I have a list over here on my laptop, so it's gonna be a little bit unorthodox. So when we break down the statistics, it's kind of interesting to me. Again, as I said, there's only 28 out of the last 68 films that Disney has put out that have been original. And when you break them down, you kind of see a little bit of a pattern. In 2009, we had 5 original films. One was the Jonas Brothers Concert 3D Experience, which is a pandering film, if you could even call it a film. Then you had 2 original animated films with Up and The Princess and the Frog. And then you had 2 really bad live action films with G-Force and Old Dogs. In 2010, you had 2 films. One was a live action based on a true story film with The Secretariat, and then one was an original animated film with Tangled. In 2011, you had one also bad live action teeny bopper film, I guess if you could call it, called Prom. I don't recall this movie at all in any shape or form. In 2012, you had 4 films. You had one live action original film that kind of was received with mixed reviews from critics and audiences called The Odd Life of Timothy Green. You had a Tim Burton film that was based off of his short film that he made way back in the day called FRANKENWEENIE. And then you had 2 original animated films with Brave and Wreck-It Ralph. In 2013, you only had 2 original films. One was an original animation called Frozen, and the other was the live action based on a true story film called Saving Mr. Banks. In 2014, you had 3 original films. One which was based off of a true story, once again with $1 Million Arm. You had one live action based on a children's book adaptation called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And then you had one original animation with with Big Hero 6. Now, for argument's sake, I know that Big Hero 6 is based off of a Marvel comic, but from what I have heard, the film and the comics do not resemble each other at all, so I'm going to count that here. In 2015, we had 3 films. One, which was based off a true story live action with McFarlane USA. Then we had 2 Pixar original animated films, Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur. One was received really well, the other not so much. In 2016, you had 5 films, 2 that were based off of true story live actions with The Finest Hour and The Queen of Katwe. You had 2 original animated films with Moana and Zootopia, and then you had 1 children's book adaptation with The Big Friendly Giant. In 2017, you had only 1 original film, Disney, and that was Coco. In 2018, you had 2 live action films that were based off of children's stories with A Wrinkle in Time and Nutcracker in the Four Realms. And then in 2019, you have 0 original films, period. Nothing that is coming out by Disney in the year 2019 is original in any shape or form. It is either an unnecessary sequel or a remake of some sort. And that is extremely frustrating and disheartening to me. And judging from that list, the only films that seem to have any merit are their animated films, and that's only from time to time. All the other stuff that they do is either stuff that's not making money that people don't care about, or it's stuff that could be interesting that they're just not putting the effort or time or care into. And that's really extremely frustrating for me. A studio that has so much power, that has taken over so many entities, that owns so much property, and all they can seem to do is put out regurgitated sequels or remakes. With a studio having that much power, I hold them to a bit more responsibility than that. So again, the point of this video is not to insult anyone that loves the live action Disney remakes or to insult anyone that loves Disney in general. You can love what you love, but I guarantee you that if you love the stuff that Disney puts out, if you would take a little bit of time just to look out and search for things that are different, you would probably find some things that you would love. A good example is Lakai Animation. They are an animation studio that is essentially shutting down because no one would see their movies, and I guarantee you that if you would check out their films, that you would love them, and yet no one's seeking them out because they're not Disney and they're not some regurgitated remake. There's all types of movies that are being made every day where studios are taking risks on a new storyteller or a new director or some sort of unique story, and that's happening less and less today, and that really makes me sad. We speak with our wallets. That's what Hollywood listens to. Think the next time before you go to the theater. Maybe look for some different alternatives. Or if you just want to keep going to see the same thing over and over again, go ahead and do it. But just know that it's going to hurt the rest of us that want to see something that's new, refreshing, and original. Alright guys, so what are your thoughts on the live action Disney remakes? Let me know in the comments below. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.